Welcome back, vlog number 5 of new series. It's coincidentally week number 5 of my current training plan. So at the moment I have increased intensity over last 2 weeks, and I have slightly changed what I do and started to incorporate 2 basic movements for my upper body, 2 basic movements for my lower body. That means these 2 movements will be there no matter what for next 16 weeks. So it will be bench press and squat and incline bench press and leg press. So 4 movements that I kind of need to work on in terms of how I want to progress, and predominantly because I do not want to end up having shoulder issues. I do have I acknowledge that the less I bench press, the weirder my shoulders feel. I know it's counterproductive. A lot of people completely hate bench press. I love it. I have always done it. And as soon as I stop doing it, my shoulders start to ache. Another tip, every single time I train chest, I will do dips. So I kind of get that stretch movement in my shoulder joints and work on those kind of, how can I even describe? Little muscles that are responsible for stabilizing your shoulder, which is why we usually have shoulder issues. All that flapping about is gonna do literally nothing if you don't look after your shoulder in sense of strengthening it. And you can't really strengthen your rotator cuffs without doing solid lifts. That's my opinion, and you can do whatever the hell you want with it if you don't agree with it. But this is my observation. The less you bench, the scarier it becomes for your chest, for your shoulder, for everything else. And another thing what I always do is do some kind of scapular strengthening isometric movement, which is either front squat, which I personally don't do much because I'm very quad dominant when I do back squat. Therefore I will do push-ups, and at the moment I have incorporated a lot of bear crawls. So pushing my shoulder blades away and just walking on my hands and legs. And because of doing push-ups all the time, ever since I started training, I've never had shoulder issues. So you do strengthen your chest and antagonizing muscles, your scapular muscles that control your scapular movement and all those kind of things. You always need to make sure that there is not too much misbalance in strength. This is where all the injuries occur. So if you have knee pains, there is always some kind of issue in misbalancing the strength between your quad, hamstrings, maybe adductors, sometimes abductors, but those are not as important as everything else. So if you have joint issues, make sure that you throw in some kind of body weight movement for the joint, and you most likely will recognize that something you have been doing on a machine have never really strengthened your joint in that particular moment. What I'm saying by that, someone asked me, how can I do more pull-ups? You can't, you just need to do pull-ups. There is not a single machine that replicates a pull-up. You cannot do anything. You can do your lat pull-downs until you get sick. You will not improve a single rep on your pull-up. Same with lunges. You can do as many single leg squats and whatnot. Lunge will not get better unless you lunge. So same principle applies to your shoulder health. You can do as many presses, as many rows, as whatever the hell you want, but unless you do isometric body weight kind of stuff, you'll tend to get injury. That's my little rant on why people should be more aware of, let's throw in some bodyweight stuff in your training plan. I always do bodyweight stuff in my training plans, and at the moment I am going through a training plan which mostly is designed by Andy Triana, which is a fun thing to do because I want to improve my ability to coach guys I work with towards longevity in sports. My sport of choice is strongman, and because I find powerlifting a bit boring. I used to do that, and I just got fed up of it after winning it. I'm a bit too short for strongman. I most likely will not compete in strength sports ever because I have severe injury in my hamstring. That kind of restricts me what I can do. So I kind of could get around my height, but I can't get around a trapped nerve in my hip that doesn't allow me to squat heavy or deadlift heavy, so that's out of the window. Nevertheless, I will still train for the reasons of being more athletic and longevity of my body rather than look jacked. Because let's be honest, if you train really hard, you will look as if you train hard. If you fuck about in the gym and if you do just squeezes and stretches and whatnot, you're most likely gonna look like someone who goes to the gym just to count reps and count sets. Yeah, your choice really. You know, you can look amazing, but let's be honest, people who have competed in very high level in aesthetic sports have some kind of background. Flex Wheeler, kickboxing, Flex Lewis, I don't remember, was he playing rugby or something like that? He was doing some kind of sport. So Dorian Yates, he could run for, I believe, 12 miles before he even picked up a dumbbell. So Ronnie Coleman, American football, you can go through every single guy who have been at highest level possible. They have very good, a solid foundation behind them, what they have done before. I would like to find out what Big Ramy did, apart from bloody fishing. Would be interesting to see his background, because freak like that, it would be surprising if he had never done anything athletic like, then everything would go out of the window. But like Brandon Curry, he was a gymnast. You know, all these people who have extremely advanced physiques have had really good, solid background in terms of body weight control and fitness. So don't neglect that. A lot of kids now don't train at all until they get like 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And then they go in the gym for the first time and they think they are very strong just because they compare themselves to some friends. And they usually are not. And I really emphasize that it's most likely because you have completely neglected the fitness part. So my training plan at the moment is to improve my fitness for the body weight I am at now. About 114 kilos, and I really don't care how much I weigh. I only weighed myself just to kind of give a feedback to everyone, because people like to ask these kind of things, even though I keep telling lads, who cares? You know, it's like asking what kind of tires your car has. Who gives a shit, as long as it fucking runs good? You know, anyway, so supplements at the moment are basics. So some multivitamins. I just started meldonium this week at 500 mgs a day when I remember to take it, and I do have some pre-workout now and then. I do take Super Greens drink every single day because it's getting colder. It's quite hard to get fluid in you now, and I really do not like too many supplements in my diet because it upsets my stomach. So Super Greens drink is alright because I have picked one that sits well with me. So it's Glaxon Super Greens. I have it from Lumberjack supplement companies that kind of supports me in everything I do. I don't take many supplements, and so I have tried these hydration electrolyte formulas, and they just make me feel horrible. So I rather eat my avocado, my bananas, my dried apricots and things like that gives me potassium, instead of drinking some kind of powders that upsets my stomach and then ruins my day, and most of the time ruins the whole week. In terms of any stronger supplements, still nothing, but from the way my training is going to progress, I would definitely really benefit from above normal intake of test and some kind of NOR19, most likely some Deconate, just because volume of training is going really, really high. Now, today I trained legs. I did, so my warm-up session is usually high intensity paired with low intensity, some kind of isometric or power-based movement. So today was jumps paired with crawls, paired with throws, paired with crawls again. And then there was one pressing movement and two types of squats. So, and altogether it was around 20 sets for legs. Yeah. There's an extra 3 sets, timed sets, just for hip hinge. So, and that was my whole session, nothing else. 3 exercises, 4 exercises altogether. You can count just 3 because one exercise is kind of a mixture of type of the squat I do. So 1.5 rep squat versus just squat. But yeah, 3 movements for legs and a blast at cardiovascular energy system training style warm up. And that was me done. Then physiotherapy straight afterwards. Well, protein shake before that. So I don't class protein shake as a supplement. I probably should mention that. But only protein I use at the moment is Hydro Whey from Optimal Nutrition. Sits really good on my stomach. All other supplements, like I said, are little to none. Trying to make sure that my food intake is high quality foods, so as small amount of processed food as possible. Like I said in previous weeks, my stomach was really messed up, so now we are getting away from all that kind of garbage, no processed foods, as small amounts of processed food as possible, so I can actually introduce maybe some supplements, maybe some intra-workout drinks, maybe some post-workout drinks. I might need some intra-workout drink, actually need it, instead of just taking it for shits and giggles, because my training volume going up soon, very soon. And I actually feel much better now, end of the week, than I was starting at the beginning of the week. So mindset has shifted. Obviously not taking anything that can impact my recovery, improve my kind of clarity of mind and all those kind of things. You tend to sometimes get lazy. I'm like, oh, why the hell I'm doing this? Everything is still sore. I don't want to train. And I just had to have a chat with myself. I'm like, look, I'm not doing these sessions, even though they are clearly planned out, how many sets of how many reps and how much load I'm going to use. I make sure that I execute them with a purpose. I don't go and say, having a plan, right, I'm going to do hundreds kilos of squat for so many sets, for so many reps. I don't attack them like, I need to do these reps and these sets. I'm making sure I'm focusing on every single rep. This rep is as clean as possible. I am doing this, so next week I can load my bar higher, I can go through higher intensity, I can rest less in between my sets. And by end of this phase of my training, I'm fucking invincible. So that's my mindset. That's probably the biggest shift I had to do in this week, because like I said, supplements work, and they sometimes help. That's why so many people who are not taking anything at all usually don't go to gym at all, because they just don't have the mindset that requires you to be consistent. I don't have that, and like I said, it was just tougher and tougher and tougher. Like I said, week 5 now, my recovery is a bit in limbo, but I make sure that I put a really hard emphasis on my sleep. After 8 o'clock, I don't talk to anyone on social media. I might make a post or something like that, but I will not check anything on it. And at 10 o'clock, I'm in bed. That's it. That's my routine now. My really hard emphasis is on sleep and recovery. And I had done it for 4 days straight. And today I feel amazing. Just because of that, today's session was much earlier than usual. I didn't even eat or anything. But it was a good session regardless, and like I said, that was just clarity of my mindset and feeling that I am doing this for a purpose. I'm not going in a gym just to get my sets and reps done, and just to get tired and get through the session no matter what, and next week will be better. No, I'm going there and I'm doing this to set up new standard for next week, and that's it. So a lot of people kind of lack that, and being honest with yourself probably is the main thing. Recognizing that you are bullshitting yourself. You can feel as tired as you want, but everything is always in your head. More often than not, people who go to gyms, I feel like if they have not felt that they want to train on that day, within few sets, they feel great. And that's because we have the ability to control our emotions. And emotions is everything that is main thing that drives us to do anything. We don't go to gym to get tired and to get fatigue and soreness and whatnot. We like the way it feels next time. We like the way it feels when you have trained for so many weeks and you start seeing results. We want those emotions over and over and over again. And if you're smart enough, you can create those emotions there and then. You don't need to wait for results to show. You just decide, right, I'm going to feel like this now. And that was my decision this week. I'm going inside there. Yeah, it's fucking horrible. It is hard as hell. But my decision was I am leading by example for myself. And get on with it. My food, so around 4,500 calories on training days just because I have less time to eat. And around 4,000 calories on rest days just because I have more time to eat. And if you understand your physiology, you kind of realize that eating less on rest days, it might be a great tool if you have very bad relationships with food. Other than that, you need to be clear on what's your training trying to achieve. My training does not try to focus on how I look. I could not give two shits. So this is why I don't care about how much I eat when. I just make sure that I eat enough to recover. So my emphasis is on protein, at least 3 grams per kilo, not any less than that. I know a lot of people will cry like, yeah, but you only need 0. Just chill the fuck out. Protein is not only for muscle building, it's for your immune system, for your nails, for your hair, for all those kind of things, all little things that people don't even think about. And we know clearly that unless you have completely messed up kidneys, it does not have any negative side effects. So why not? So I rather eat a bit too much protein because there is evidence showing that too much protein will not be converted to body fat. It will be just increasing your lean body mass, and if anything, you're going to just lose a bit more body fat. And so why should I eat less of it when there is no benefit for it? I checked, last blood tests were amazing. My kidneys are great. Everything is amazing. Everything is great. I know I can push, and I know nothing bad is going to happen. So my fat intake is probably 1.5 grams per kilo. I do want to push it up to 2 grams, but I just need to make sure that it's monounsaturated fat. I do feel and look really good on monounsaturated fats, which is your avocados and some olive oils. There isn't much really of the things you can pick and choose there. But the source is quite important. Same as carbs, most of the time is just complex carbs. So I'm trying to get away from eating garbage. And no jam sandwiches anymore. And I could get away with that when I was training every single day and trying to diet down, and my activity levels were through the roof. They're not at the moment, because most of the time I spend my time on trying to improve the way I work with my clients, my own knowledge, my own skills. So I don't spend anywhere near as much time moving and doing stuff, even though my kind of recovery is slightly impaired because of intensity of workouts and lack of supplements. I'm not gonna force myself to eat more than I kind of can get away to maintain my body fat. Because like I said, my focus now is to improve my energy system use rather than getting bigger or smaller or whatnot. As long as I maintain my body weight and get fitter at this body weight, I'm not going to change anything with my nutrition. So I covered all those kind of things, plant supplements. So another thing, I had some questions. So cardio work, staying fit in growing phase without interfering with recovery progress. This really depends on, so cardiovascular work should always be there. The fitter you are, the faster you're going to grow. You need to get out of the head stupid ideas that the more you eat, the bigger you're going to grow. You're going to get fatter, that's it. You're not going to grow much more muscles than anyone else. This is why so many people have this stupid kind of ego boost that I'm biggest I've ever been, and then when they step on stage they look exactly the same like last time or even smaller. They just learn how to get fat, not how to build muscle. The fitter you are, the bigger you actually can grow, the faster you're going to recover. As soon as your fitness goes down, your inflammation markers go through the roof, you're actually dampen your ability to recover, and so on and so forth. You are holding yourself back by not doing cardio. The sooner you learn the difference, the better. And especially now, when you see so many people just dropping dead left, right, and center. Stop neglecting your health. It's important. How would you program cardiovascular for optimal health? So you don't damper. So what I would do to program cardiovascular work into training sessions, I would just make you work with very slow rest periods in between sets. And it also helps specifically for type of clients predominantly that I work with, which is most of the strengths-based athletes. And lo and behold, when they start doing that, they start looking great as well. And it kind of transfers into bodybuilding afterwards. So stop neglecting that. It's not as hard as people kind of blow it out to be. It doesn't mean you need to run 5 miles every single day. Once, twice a week, do just light cardiovascular, Stairmaster or whatnot. You don't really need to push yourself or you're dropping dead and you can't move. And the thing is, the amount of calories you burn whilst building your fitness up is so small. Literally, you can lick a spoonful of bloody peanut butter and you got your calories back. Stop crying about that. You're not going to gain weight if you do cardio because you burn absolutely nothing whilst doing that. So I'm not going to keep rambling about all these things because I kind of covered everything I wanted to cover this week. It's Thursday, I believe, 25th of November. Yes. So last one was a bit more than a week ago. So from next week, most likely I might throw in some heavy supplements just to start recover quicker. And my choices will be something that improves my hemoglobin. That being said, I need to double check if I actually need that. But yeah, something that increases my hemoglobin, something that increases glycogen retention, and those kind of things. I don't need anything that kind of works on neurological pathways at the moment yet, just because my training is more of like volume and intensity based rather than purely skill based. But as weeks progress, I'll decide which way I'm gonna go. But like I said, I have around 16 to 20 weeks of this left before we switch on to hypertrophy. So I might do 16-20 weeks really hard on this, add some supplements for these 16 weeks, take around 6-week break, reassess where I'm at with my health and whatnot. In those 6 weeks, change my training plan completely, go through skill acquisition, alarm phase again, where I change my training plan, keep things in that I'm going to keep for the rest of the year. There will always be 1, 2, 3 movements that never go out of my plan at all, like ever, forever, like bench and squat. And we'll go from there. So, and that's when I'm actually, my physique is not going to change much lately, but I do feel like I'm holding on to semi-decent look. And plans for competing are none at the moment, because next year I have 12 months of personal development, personal education, all those kind of things that I want to fulfill in that time. And this is why I'm doing the things the way I do now. So it's going to be 3-4 months increasing my fitness levels for the body weight I'm at now. Then maybe 3-4 months working on my hypertrophy. Then I'll need 3-4 months to make sure that I am fit for that new body weight. And then maybe a year after that compete, or end of next year. Definitely not gonna compete anytime sooner than end of the next year, if I compete at all next year. But yeah, I'm making sure that I progress in somewhat way, one way or another. It's never only one thing that we kind of want to develop. I don't think you should ever focus on just one thing. If you just improve one thing, then everything else goes to shit. So fitness, hypertrophy, strengths, endurance, all these kind of things should be always there. Never neglect one thing. Same like with training. You're always gonna want to do some mobility work one way or another. Stop asking people, why do you never get injured? Because I do things that kind of help me stay away from injuries. Only injury I've ever had was from running, and from that it kind of rolled into many other issues. But the main issue was me trying to run like at my body weight way too long. 2 half marathon, 115 kilos is not a smart idea. Never do that. So yeah, right, I'm gonna wrap it up there, and I'll speak to you next week. Drop some comments, drop whatever the hell you like, acknowledge that you're actually listening to these things, and I keep rolling them out. And if you have any specific questions, leave them underneath, because personal messages get lost really quick. If you keep everything in the same place, every single time I make a new video, I go back and check if anyone has left any comments, and I make sure that I reply to those comments. If you don't do that, and if you just message me directly, most likely I will just forget about it or miss on replying to it, because it's not where I would like it to be. So, and on that note, I'll speak to you next week.